Good morning, sweet friends. So I shot a wedding last night with Liam Good Visuals. Check him out. He's really talented and wonderful man. And we were both shooting on a Nikon Z8 and a Nikon ZF, and we had some of the same lenses, and that was fun. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the Nikon S series of lenses, specifically the 1.8 S's. And the reason I want to talk about those is because I think, this might sound controversial, but I think Nikon has the best 1.8s in the business. I mean, maybe you can make a case for some of the like really high quality 1.8 Leicas, but let's go outside of that to things that regular people can try to afford and talk about the big three, whether it's like Canon, well, yeah, we'll include Fuji too and Olympus, but we'll do Canon, Nikon, Sony, Fuji, Olympus. 1.8 is always like the budget option, right? It's like your nifty 50 kind of idea. I was talking about this with Liam yesterday, and he shared a lot of similar sentiments and had a lot of valid points. So I'm basically going to spew out what he said mixed with what I'm thinking, and we're going to try and find an area that's not too windy. Nikon's 1.8 S line is the 24, the 35, the 50, the 85. I guess you could put the 135 in there, but that's the Plena, and that's a different story. They're incredibly sharp. They render super detailed images. They're really fast and high quality. But you know, I was shooting on the 1.4 line for a while there, and I really liked it. And I still really like it. I think, here, let's post up. Let's post up. I still really like the 1.4s. I think that the images they render are really pretty. The two issues with them really being, one, chromatic aberration, which, I don't know, is that an issue? Is that not an issue? It kind of depends who you're talking to. We can get rid of that in post, so it's not the biggest deal. The other issue though being, they're just not super confident comparatively. Like the hit rate with the 1.8s, the S line, is very high. Like you nail shots a lot more, I've noticed since switching over. And that is not the case with the 1.4s. The 1.4s, I find your keeper rate is lower. And that is not a huge deal, but I don't know, for something like weddings or something like that, where you know, things like first kiss or first dance or whatever, like things that only happen once, having a high hit rate, high keeper rate is good. So the thing is though, they're expensive, right? Like, I mean, you can buy like your like 50mm f1.8 nifty 50 from Canon in the RF mount for a few $100, and it's a great lens. I actually really like that lens. It's small, it's super light. The images off it are good, but they're not quite as good. And I would say that the hit rate on it is pretty good for its price as well, but it's not quite as good. So the issue with the Nikons is that they're so expensive. I mean, if you want to get the 50mm f1.8, I think it's like $800 or $900 Canadian, something like that. Now, some of that could be tariff stuff going on right now, but overall, that's the price. Same with the 85 1.8, quite expensive. The 24mm 1.8 is like $1,000. It's all a lot. So when I decided to switch over to I have the 24, the 50, and the 85, it was like a pretty big commitment from a cost perspective. Cotton's getting barked at. And so I had to be very aware of that and ask myself, like, is it really worth it? Should I wait on the 50mm and spend the extra money on the f1.2? And I was kind of set to do that. And then I had a conversation with Liam a little while ago, and he was talking about the 1.2 and the 1.8, and he was talking about how shockingly good the 1.8 is compared to the 1.2. And he uses the 1.2 all the time. It's a great lens, obviously, but it's much more expensive. And the kind of sentiment from his end was like, you know, yes, you're getting more light and you are getting a shallower depth of field, and it does look really beautiful, but the image quality from a purely like outside of that character, the image quality and the hit rate and the performance of the f1.8 50mm, the S, is incredibly high. So like, you don't really have to think of it in terms of that. Like, you don't have to think of it like, I'm gonna get better performance. It's really just like, you're gonna get a different look, which is cool because the look is obviously important, but performance is also very important. The only lens I would say on a 1.8 level from the other big brands that kind of like hits in the same way to me is the 50 Cottonwood. Don't eat garbage. Come here. Sit. Great. Just wait a few minutes. The only one that I would say really like is comparable is the 55mm f1.8 Zeiss Sony lens. Oh man. Okay, break. I love that lens. That lens is incredible. I've always loved it. Anytime I've shot with Sony, I've had that lens, and it's just like, it's so good. It's so good. And I would say that that's comparable, but otherwise I'm not seeing a lot of stuff. Like, you know what, I had the Lumix 50mm, they also call it the S, 50mm f1.8s. And that was very good too, actually. I really liked that lens. I liked the build quality of it. I thought that it was very good. It was probably only held back a little bit in terms of like keeper rate and stuff like that by Lumix's autofocus, but which has gotten a lot better and it's still very solid now. But yeah, you know, it's funny because in shooting with, especially with the ZF, I kind of felt sometimes like it was kind of jumpy and kind of sporadic in certain elements, and my hit rate wasn't super high compared to some of the other systems I've used. And that got better as I understood the camera better, for sure. But I would still say it wasn't quite as high as when I was using like Sony or Canon. Switching over to the 1.8, it has helped. And when I put the 1.8s onto the Z8, like yesterday was my first wedding using that combo with the Z8 and the 1.8s. Man, there's a lot of numbers in this. And it was great. It was really, really solid. Yeah, I mean, nothing really to say there except for that. So I would say from a quality perspective, if you want to get into the Nikon system, or if you're already in the Nikon system and you're used to shooting on other brands, and those brands have their like 1.8 options, they're gonna feel very budget compared to the 1.8 options that you get from Nikon. So it's kind of cool. They actually went the other way. They said, no, we're gonna make our 1.8s, the S line, we're gonna make those super high quality, and then we're gonna introduce some lower quality, more cost-effective 1.4s that maybe give a little more character or style, but aren't quite as solid. And it's funny, I made a review about that 50mm f1.4, and I still like that lens a lot. It's a great lens, and I enjoy using it when I do use it. But a lot of people on it, there were a lot of people who were like, this is a trash lens, this is a garbage lens. And like, that's obviously not true. It's a great lens. It's a silly thing to say. But I will say, using the 1.8s has made me pretty excited. I really like the quality coming out of them. So all that to say, Nikon has some great 1.8s, and I think it's cool that they have delivered on that. And the price point isn't, I mean, it's high, but it's not insane. You know, you're not paying thousands of dollars. You're paying, I don't know, if you want to get the full set, you're paying a few $1,000, and that's a lot. But if you're getting into a system and you really want like a full set of primes that are going to get you in that sort of regular length from like 24 to 85, they're good options. So that's it. I'm going to go shoot another wedding today with Tim at Roseville in Cambridge. Cotton, do you have anything you want to say? What's that? That's cute. Bye, everybody.